Attack my target!
Okay, so I'm coming in here without a list. Not great, but I just want to quickly go through this because I'm not really giving myself a whole lot of time to edit. I have a lot to do. So this is going to be a channel update, hopefully a short one. And I guess I'm going to start off with a little announcement, but the announcement will be a video on its own, hopefully even shorter later on. I'll also be explaining why I've been gone for a while and you're maybe getting like a set of videos almost every 2 weeks. I'll get into that in a second. So the first thing, the sort of announcement, but not official announcement I guess yet, and I did kind of talk about it in the Super Mario Sunshine video, which was a disguised update video. However, of course, I wanted a more condensed version that people would see over Mario Sunshine, I guess. And essentially what the announcement is that I'm gonna have a second channel, sort of related to the LP stuff, still gaming related. This channel's not gonna go away. The old school LPs are still gonna be here if you want them. What the second channel is, I guess, can really only be described as a review channel, even though that's not what I really want it to be. However, that's kind of the only way to describe it. Anyway, the reason why I want to do that is because I feel like I was in a bit of a unique position to where I've never played things like Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil, even Silent Hill games. I have seen other people play, or even Zelda stuff. A lot of things I missed out on because I mostly play FPS games. But what sort of started this idea was wanting to play Final Fantasy VII, the original game, on PS1, but I didn't want to do like a 100-part playthrough. I've kind of drifted away from doing very long LPs. That's why you haven't really seen Red Dead 2 or Last of Us 2, even though I've been meaning to finish those. At least, you know, uploading. But yeah, the point is, Final Fantasy VII would take a very long time. And I had been thinking about this for a couple years since sometime after Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 was out, I kinda got an urge to play the original, like a year or two after that. I guess maybe before Part 2 of the remake was coming out. So I kinda played with the idea of, I could do a best of sort of thing for maybe every part, or it could be the important stuff, something like that, but it still felt like it would be way too much, for me at least. And then sometime after that, when I was trying to figure out how the fuck do I do Final Fantasy VII Original if I want to record it, well, I finally started binging Josh Strife Hayes. And I watched a couple of his videos, the MMO stuff, and then I got into some of the games that he has. Well, the reviews, which I'll get into in a second about that. I specifically came across Death Trap Dungeon, which I ended up really liking. And I just thought, why don't I kind of just do what he's doing, I guess, or something like Final Fantasy VII. And that's kind of where I started forming the idea more to do that for Final Fantasy VII, but then I also got the idea for Modern Warfare 3, even Black Ops 3, Bad Company 1, and currently Doom Eternal, which Doom Eternal wasn't supposed to be the first video, but it is. You know, considering Dark Ages comes out soon. It kind of bumped it up to be the first video to hopefully come out, you know, at least a week before Dark Ages releases. We'll see. But yeah, that's why I didn't really know what to call these videos, because I wouldn't really say Josh Strife's videos were reviews to me. He just kind of goes through the game in depth, by the way. I'm not going to do in depth. It's just going to be pretty surface level, I would say. Because I specifically want it to be, here's how I felt while playing the game. Here's what I liked, here's what I didn't like, and that's pretty much it. Maybe even level by level. But it wasn't until Josh Strife, in his RuneScape 3 video, called his videos reviews, so I was like, I guess I'm doing reviews, I don't know what else to call it. But again, just specifically talking about my experience with the game, and that's kinda it. I don't mean to be very critical on a game, or in-depth really. Just kinda wanna shoot the shit. And again, since I never played things like the original Zelda games, Resident Evil, and the like, I feel like it could be a little unique, I guess, for someone who's never touched these games, to finally play them and talk about them. A little bit. Which, by the way, I'm actually glad Doom Eternal shot up the list to be the first video coming out on the second channel, because it gave me the idea for the style of intros going forward. I kinda thought I would just play a cutscene and maybe talk over it or after it, but shortly before I did the editing for the Doom Eternal video, I listened to the Doom soundtrack while I was like cooking or something, right before I was gonna edit, and I really ended up liking Meat Hook. And I thought of a little montage for that. And then when I finally got around to editing, and I decided to put the cutscene I wanted to use first, it was pretty empty. I was kind of figuring out how would I, you know, talk or anything over this or after this. It's so ambient. It's weird. Then I grabbed Meat Hook, placed it, and figured out a montage from there, a little montage. And then after the little intro, the review starts pretty much. So yeah, Doom Eternal being the first video, when it wasn't supposed to, actually turned out to be pretty good. Because it gave me, I guess, an intro style for every video going forward. At least I'll try when I can. It also depends on the game's soundtrack and cutscenes. Might not work for everything, obviously, but I'll try to make it work. Which, by the way, that is pretty much the announcement. That's why I'm still finalizing the intro for the Doom Eternal video, but it is pretty much done. However, I just want to tweak it a little bit, so hopefully that's done by the time I'm doing this update video. But if you're curious what the intro will be like, since maybe it's still a week or two away from this point, I guess here you go, why not? Here's a peek on how the intros will be done for pretty much any review video I'll be doing in the future.
My eyes have been opened. Let me help you to see, Slayer.
Again, depends on the game's soundtrack. It won't be a montage like this every time. Yeah, that was actually pretty fun to make. So I can at least have fun with the game, making a little intro for it compared to playing it, I guess, sometimes. So yeah, no idea if this will even go anywhere, but it's still something I want to do. A part of me still wants to make montages, I guess, because that's, again, part of what I did when I first started doing YouTube stuff. No commentary playthroughs, and then random-ass montages. I really wanted to make Tribes Ascend montages that were almost done, and then I just never finished them, and now it's like way too late to do them. So yeah, a part of me really still wants to do montages, apparently. So I think that's it for the announcement stuff. That's sort of a sneak peek, I guess, because there'll actually be a short announcement video for when the Doom video actually goes live. So if I have the channel ready before then, when this update video goes out, I'll try to have it linked so you can go just subscribe early enough so you know when the video goes live. Exactly, I suppose. I do want to say, I already listed the games, but I'll list them again. Not every video is supposed to be negative, or at least leaning towards negative. I just kind of wanted to play random-ass games too, and then maybe, I guess, review them. I kind of hate saying that I'm reviewing games. I don't want to be saying that. But that's the only way to fucking describe it, so fuck. Anyway, the first games are supposed to be Doom Eternal, at some point, Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare 3, and Bad Company 1. I also don't plan to only do first-person shooters, but here we are. Those are the first games that I want to do for the second channel, just so I can get the footage off my goddamn hard drive. Yeah, all of those are pretty much not gonna be exactly positive, so I hope that doesn't set a precedent either. Maybe I'll mix in some neutral or positive stuff, I guess, because I wanted to play some random-ass things like Haze or Time Shift. Doom 3, actually, I want to finish that. It was like the first Halloween special Gabriel and I did on the channel, and I've been wanting so badly to finish it, which I'm probably gonna have to start fresh anyway because it's been way too long. So that's what you should expect for a while at least. This year or maybe even going into next year. Second channel videos will be fucking Black Ops 3, Modern Warfare 3, Bad Company 1. That might be the lineup, with maybe Haze or Time Shift or even Doom 3 as well. I want to get around to these eventually. It's just Black Ops 3 and Modern Warfare 3 are taking up so much fucking space, and I have to still replay Black Ops 3. So yeah, that's why the first couple are probably going to be negative. I need the footage gone. Okay, so moving on from that, that's the announcement done. The sort of unofficial announcement for the moment, or early sneak peek, I guess. Essentially, the review videos will be my ending credit talk a bit expanded or condensed. One of the two. As far as why I haven't been uploading much, and being real late with Doom Eternal and even Black Ops 6, yeah, I kinda had some shit happen during Thanksgiving, I believe, all the way up until the end of January, so start of February. Like I said, I don't really want to get too detailed into things, but what happened was I had a grandparent fall and break their wrist, and they were in the hospital for 2 weeks around Thanksgiving, so we were helping with that, and then after they were released from the hospital, oh wait, maybe? I don't know, I'm confused. I was gonna say maybe it was like December, but I can't remember anymore. It might have been the start of December, I really don't recall. It's been a bit. And December was a whirlwind, for me at least. So I believe during the hospital as well, my grandparent was showing signs of sundowning, which if you don't know what that is, typically when the sun goes down, I suppose you could extrapolate that from sundowning. When the sun goes down, the person affected kind of starts showing signs of Alzheimer, pretty much. I guess that's what it is. So that happened, and that's why we had to sort of take care of our grandparent for a while without sleep. Because my grandparent would just be up and maybe sleep for like 20-30 minutes and just not sleep at all for a couple days until we had to get them like sleeping medicine. So again, a whirlwind. I don't remember time frames exactly, but eventually we figured out a mixture of medicine was giving my grandparent sundowning, or at least signs of sundowning. Which, if this ever happens to you, or maybe happened to you in the past, I forgot one of the medicines, but one of them was a muscle relaxer. Whatever muscle relaxer this was kind of the cause for the sundowning. Once we got my grandparent off the medicine, they were fine. It took a bit, but they were fine after that. So that was, you know, scary. But I'm glad that's done and over with. My grandparent's fine. And that's pretty much where I was. Sort of the end of November, pretty much all the way into January. And then come February, I don't know. I think I just got bogged down with work, and I think I played Path of Exile 2 for a while, and I was barely editing. I don't know if I have to explain this every time, but the guy I play games with on the channel, his name is Gabriel. He's my friend. He bought me Path of Exile 2, and we played that for a good while. I don't know, like 30, 50 hours. It was fun, and I want to go back to it. I guess that was for the month of February. However, then March came around, and Monster Hunter Wilds came out, and that was kind of a last-minute buy from me. I bought it like literally the day before it released, and so did Gabriel. You want to guess what I've been doing for the whole month of March? 100 hours of Monster Hunter Wilds. And that's why videos were still fucking slow, because I didn't feel like editing. So sorry about that. However, I kind of need to, you know, clamp things down now, since I kind of am on a schedule if I want the Doom Eternal review video out before Dark Ages on the first week of May. And of course, I would like to be as close as I can to Doom Eternal, the LP, being finished up by the time I get the Doom video out. I would like to start uploading Dark Ages, you know, within a day or two of release, and not several days later. At the least, editing's been honestly pretty easy lately. It used to be more difficult for me, I don't know why. I just kind of figured out little ways to help me do it quicker, I suppose. Like putting a hard limit on game audio, so I think that's been nice lately. My voice is typically -6 dB. Also, so I don't feel like I'm editing every day, I guess at least a ridiculous amount, because I would really sit down and force myself to do 40 minutes to an hour of a part, and that's why it would very easily get taxing on me, even if I did make it easier to edit, because I still take, like, you can probably take a 40-minute part and almost double the time on it, and that's pretty much how long I spent editing that video. I don't know why, it just happens. I think I'm editing a video fast, or at a good pace. I look down at the time and it's like, an hour later, I'm 30 minutes into it. What the fuck happened? I do audio balance quite a bit. I'm pretty sure that could be it. Even though I said it's nice to have most of the audio have a hard limit and not go over like -17 dB is what I typically put. My voice being at -6, the game not going over -17. Any loud parts are stuck hitting -17 dB and not going over it. Then I found out Premiere also has an auto ducking feature, so when I speak, the game lowers itself. And I've been doing this for a while, except the way I auto-ducked was by throwing the audio into Audition, having it auto-duck over there, and then bringing it back in to Premiere, which was kind of annoying, especially because it kind of took its sweet time to render just audio. But now it's pretty much done in Premiere. I like to keep it in one program, everything I do, and it's made editing smoother for me. However, there are some fucking games, quite a lot, in which, yeah, the game will hit the -17 dB limit no problem when you're playing. But then when a person speaks, it never gets close to that. It maybe hits like -25 dB or some shit, and it's kind of ridiculous. So that's what I mean. I spend a little bit of extra time balancing audio, especially during cutscenes or when someone speaks, because sometimes the audio balance is just kind of shit in quite a few games. I'm editing Bad Company 2 right now. It's happening there pretty bad. Like whispers compared to fucking guns going off. It's a little bit annoying, but guess what? I want everything to be hearable. So I do kind of focus on audio balancing quite a bit. I try to, at least. It may take me a couple parts to actually finally nail down a good audio balance, so I'm still not great at it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that covers everything. There's just one more thing. If you haven't looked at the timestamp or the video bar chapter things, you'll notice there's one last part, sort of. Yeah, this is always going to be a little awkward to talk about, because, you know, it just pretty much boils down to kind of begging, I guess. I will have a Patreon for the second channel specifically. Any benefits will be for the second channel. You don't have to sign up. You're not going to get locked out of anything. You don't have to give a shit about it. It's just simply there for if people want to tip, they can tip. That is it. For people with, I would hope, expendable money, can tip. Instead of people putting their tip to me on a credit card. I don't want that. Don't do that, please. So I'm just gonna have it there. If people want to, they can. That's it. There's not much more to it. I don't really want to make a lot more work for myself, and I kind of thought of doing a couple different things for Patreon supporters, but I think I'm just gonna leave it as 2 or 3 day early access, so just a link to the unlisted video until it goes live on the designated day. So let's say I maybe want to have it up Friday or Saturday. If you want early access, depending on Friday or Saturday, you can watch it Tuesday, Wednesday. Just something small, something simple. Trying not to lock stuff behind the Patreon. That's not something I really want to do, but I obviously feel like I still need to give something for anyone who does decide to be a Patreon supporter. That, and the other thing will be access to probably a Google Drive link, which will be added later, by the way. I don't know if I'll do it right away. I'll explain it in a second, but a Google Drive link to the compressed final review videos that are on the second channel. Let me explain that. As much as I would like to let you guys have access to the final raw video before it's uploaded, without YouTube's own compression really fucking it up, I don't want to hand off like a 20 gig file to you guys. Yeah, it's kind of bad. I use Handbrake to compress my videos for storage purposes. So pretty much all the LPs I've had in the last couple years, I have been slowly compressing them over the weeks. So that, let's say this hour-long video, 1440p, that is maybe 20 gigs, gets compressed through Handbrake with my settings to as lossless as I can get away with. It ends up being maybe 5 to 7 gigs, or sometimes even well under that. So that's a much nicer file size to essentially present to you guys to download, compared to a 20 fucking gig file. I think so, at least. And never mind that, the quality will be better than YouTube. It just won't be as good as the final video I actually uploaded, which is the one I call the raw, file, I guess. It won't look as good as that. However, it will still look pretty fucking good. It's to the point when I compare them, the original video and the compressed video through Handbrake, where I'm pausing it on the same frame and flipping between the two trying to find the fucking differences. Like, it is still a pretty fucking good video file in quality that I don't think it's a big deal. You get access to the review video that is far, far better quality than YouTube, and it doesn't take up 20 goddamn gigs. That's still, 5-7 gigs on average, but that's better than 20 plus. So I think that's pretty much what will be given as, I guess, special access to or whatever to Patreon supporters. If they want, they get 2 or 3 day early access to uploads, and they also get a good quality version of the review video, as close to the original video file as I can get, which again, it is still really good quality. I don't know if I want to go through it again, but I guess I will. I'm not sure how much of the initial Patreon video stuff I did I want to actually edit and go through. So real quick, I'll go through it here. So for the Patreon tiers, initially what I came up with was using the Guild Wars 2 rarity system, which of course is common, fine, masterwork, rare, exotic, ascended, and legendary, in white, blue, green, yellow, orange, pink, and purple. I was kind of fine with it. I didn't really like fine and masterwork or even rare, but I worked around that, finished it, showed it to Gabriel, and he told me he's surprised I didn't do anything Army of 2 related, which was a really good way to remind me that when I first started the Patreon stuff, I wanted to go with difficulty tiers, since, I don't know, I kind of like playing random difficulties on games. And like I said, the Guild Wars 2 rarity thing wasn't really working for me. So I think what it ended up turning into was Recruit, Contractor, Elite, Veteran, Professional, Ghost, and Legendary. So this was way down the line, but obviously Recruit for Call of Duty, Contractor for Army of 2, Elite for, I think, Ghost Recon, Veteran for Call of Duty, Professional for Army of 2, Ghost, we'll come back to that, Legendary, obviously Halo. Real quick, I think for the blue one, Contractor, before I remembered Army of 2 existed, I believe it was Heretic, or I wanted to call it Heretic, for Halo, but then I went to actually go look at the Halo difficulties and it ended up being Heroic, not Heretic. So whoops, I kinda like Heretic better though. And Ghost was essentially, I thought, from Ghost Recon for the final difficulty. But no, the final difficulty is just called like Hardened or some shit. I forgot. Nothing really uses Ghost for its final difficulty, as far as I know. Essentially, I made it the fuck up, and I kinda wanted to keep it, but I feel like it didn't fit the other, I guess, names. Then I kinda wanted an extra edgy tier because I thought of something else. I got reminded of Death Wish. I wanted a random edgy tier, why not? As the final tier. But also I didn't like Professional being over Veteran, so I swapped them. Professional being lower. Pretty sure that's from Payday too. I liked it a lot, but I felt like it didn't really work, especially the colors I initially chose. Then I changed it to be blue, and I kinda liked that, but I wasn't liking Ghost being red. So the final change ended up being, I decided to go look at Metro. So the final tier ended up being Ghost, because why not? I really like Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I really feel like Ghost should have been the last name for the difficulty in the game, Ghost Recon Future Soldier. But to me, they kind of screwed that up. Ghost was right there to use for the final difficulty, and they didn't, so I'll use it. Ghost is technically, I made it the fuck up. I thought it was a actual difficulty, but it isn't. But when I was looking around to try and find if anything used this as a difficulty tier, there's a random Payday 2 mod that does. But I'm still gonna go with I made it the fuck up, because I thought it came from Ghost Recon when it didn't. And it was actually very hard to find if this was a difficulty tied to anything. Anyway, you'll notice the red one is now Ranger. I had it as Death Wish, but I just felt like it was out of place. So I looked around, I was like, oh, Metro, let me see what that has. And I kind of don't think it has anything really special other than Ranger. Yeah, it's just like easy, normal, hardcore, Ranger easy, Ranger hardcore. So I just decided to call it Ranger. And this ended up being the final mock-up I came up with for the Patreon stuff. Which again, I mean, it's a lot of talking. It's like, this was over the course of a whole week coming up with this shit and thinking of names or whatever. But at the end, I know, it's just Patreon. It's not a big deal. I don't think anyone would have given a shit. But I'm pretty much happy with what I came up with. I got to sort of use pretty much every game I like in this Patreon tier that doesn't matter at all. Guild Wars 2 got to be in here twice for the color system, except for red and blue, of course. But it's still pretty much all Guild Wars 2 color rarity. Legendary counts for Halo, but it's also Guild Wars 2 to me because the highest tier weapons are legendary, rarity, and also purple. So yeah, I'm happy with this. I still don't know if I'm gonna do anything to make Professional and Ranger look glowy. I don't know if, you know, if anyone gives a shit if they are actually gonna have their name on this. I'm not sure if they want that. I guess we'll see if this ever changes in the future. I don't really expect anyone to sign up, but it's here if people do. I do have a couple mock-ups of this. Pretty much this Patreon sort of page, I guess, with people's names on it, will go after the intro. Like that Doom one I just put up at the start of this video. After that is when I'll talk and maybe kind of give a little intro story about how I'm feeling with the game, or however I'm going to start the review videos. Like that intro of me talking is pretty much, with the gameplay in the background, is pretty much where this Patreon stuff will be placed. So if there's a list of names on different pages, that'll be on for a couple seconds before it changes to the next one until it's done, while I'm still just going over my intro spiel. That's it. That's where it's gonna go. People want to see their name there, cool. If not, it's fine. I don't think it's gonna bother anyone. It's gonna be there while I'm talking, so if you don't want to look at the Patreon thing, you could just turn away. Or switch tabs while I'm talking. I don't think it'll be anything anyone really cares about. It's gonna be there for a couple of seconds while I'm speaking, not in the way of anything before I actually really get into talking about the game. A little intro spiel with this in the background, that's about it. Yeah, that's how it's gonna go. I don't really want to sit there and call names for like 5 minutes straight. Sorry. So it's just if you really want your name, I guess, immortalized in a color you like, in possibly a video you end up liking over time, I guess. The sort of review style videos I end up doing. You want your name in that. That's all this is for. With that said, I think that's pretty much everything. So, hopefully you guys look forward to that sort of thing. If not, the LPs will still be here. They're not going away. It might be slow at points, so I hope you understand that. It's already been slow, I know, but I really got to get cracking on this first video. So I'm gonna go now. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. I'll see you in the review video, or I'll see you in just a regular LP. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.
For bringing us out! Be proud. Try for it.